On October 7th, following the conclusion of China's 8-day National Day holiday, a woman in Anhui returned to work only to discover her company had shut its doors.
Ugh, can you believe it? I come back from the National Day holiday, excited for my first day back at work, only to find out my company's gone bust. I get to the office door and see that all the lights are off. No one's inside. I try the passcode, but it's changed. Then I check my work group chat on my phone and there's a message from my boss telling us not to come in. I can't believe this.
She wasn't the only one faced with this situation. Another employee returned from the holiday break to find an empty office. Her work phone revealed a message from days earlier, instructing staff to retrieve their belongings.
Seriously, first day back from the National Day break. I walk up to the office and it's all cleared out. Look, the time clock doesn't even work. Pressing the buttons and nothing happens. See, it's all gone. Everything, even the boss's room, totally empty.
When questioned by viewers about her salary, the employee remarked it hadn't been paid. She was contemplating taking a few desks and chairs home and had spotted a printer in the corner to retrieve the next day. Here, 2 employees are taking the chairs home after their company closed down.
This is embarrassing. My company closed, and one of my co-workers was like, grab a chair and let's go. So we actually wheeled chairs all the way home. It's just an 800-meter walk to my apartment, but still so silly.
Another individual from Henan province returned to find his company still operational. However, many office desks were vacant. He realized that these empty spaces resulted from company layoffs amidst business struggles. Come on, it's just after National Day. This used to be a bustling office with over 20 employees, and now, just a handful of us left. Where did everyone go? And those folks behind you, they quit? They took leave. After watching this video, you had better hurry back or our company won't even be here. We're closing down. The National Day holiday might have temporarily pushed aside concerns, allowing many to revel in festivities. But the unavoidable reality awaited. The holiday economy, heavily promoted by the Chinese Communist Party, has not transformed the overall economic situation. Citizens still face an economic slump, particularly evident in the dining sector and brick-and-mortar retail, which seem to be in dire straits. In recent years, the pandemic combined with strict measures by the CCP have forced many eateries to close. Post-pandemic, numerous investors optimistically jumped into the restaurant business, hoping for a post-COVID consumption surge. Data from Tianyan Check shows that over 2.02 million new catering businesses, mainly in hot pot, beverages, and barbecue, emerged. However, instead of experiencing the anticipated consumption boom, many are now seemingly heading for a prolonged recession. A video blogger, self-named Environment Brother, who deals in equipment recycling in Guangdong, regularly sources from defunct factories, hotels, and restaurants. The rising number of closures in recent years has expanded his business. Despite profiting from this endeavor, he expresses sympathy for these struggling entrepreneurs. After this year's National Day, another wave of closures hit the catering industry in Guangdong. Believe it or not, even faster than the real estate crash is the food and beverage industry collapse, folks. For every crazy restaurant opening in the first half of the year, there is a sad closing in the second half. Just after the National Day break, 7 restaurants has plans to close down. 5 of those were opened by newbies. They were all excited to start. Some lasted only 3 months, others 6 months. Now they're shutting down. A word of advice, newbies. Steer clear of the food industry or you'll end up dealing with me, the Environment Brother. In one instance, a buffet barbecue restaurant in Shenzhen's Futian district, initiated by 3 millennials with a 3 million yuan investment, closed down within 4 years of operation. Despite weathering the challenges of the pandemic for 3 years, they couldn't withstand the current economic chill. Oh man, here's another one from the restaurant sector, guys. A once thriving barbecue place with a 3 million yuan investment, operating for just 4 years, is now closing its doors. Look at this place, decked out with colorful neon lights and chic interiors. Decorations alone cost a fortune. Three millennial owners, each putting in over $1 million, set up this dream barbecue joint in the prime location of Futian district. This is unbearable. A restaurant that once boasted a daily turnover of 50,000 yuan is now going under. Just came in to dismantle some equipment. Can you imagine? A place that made 50,000 a day now bankrupt. A monthly turnover of at least 700 to 800,000. The restaurant business is just too hard these days. Pre-made meals, recently promoted by the Chinese government, has attracted numerous investors. However, not all ventures have been profitable. A real estate company's 100 million yuan investment in a pre-made meal factory folded in less than a year. The closures have, however, created opportunities for equipment recycling businesses. It's reported that the gross profit margin in equipment recycling hovers around 50%, luring more into the sector. As a result, those in the recycling business now possess a comprehensive understanding of China's catering industry's predicament. According to mainland Chinese media, a businessman known as Dog Brother, who is involved in equipment recycling in the Jingjinji region, used the phrase "an inevitable closure" to describe the recent state of the restaurant industry. He estimated from the data that there are around 5 million registered restaurants in the dining market, with a monthly closure rate hovering around 10%. A rough calculation by him suggests that since June and July of this year, there's been a daily average of over 20 inquiries about equipment recycling. This indicates a similar number of eateries potentially facing closure. Rolling back 3 months paints a different picture. Dog Brother recalls an equilibrium between restaurant openings and closures. On some days, equipment procured would be sold off almost immediately the next day. However, the latter half of the year marked a distinct shift. Possibly discouraged by witnessing numerous peers shut down, the enthusiasm to venture into the dining scene waned. More closures, fewer openings. The equipment Dog Brother acquired began piling up as inventory, sometimes even leading to him selling at a loss. A report titled China Dining Big Data 2021 previously revealed that the average lifespan of a new restaurant in China is only 508 days. But the situation on the ground as seen by the equipment recycling business is much worse. Some restaurants don't even last a year. It has been reported that some of the first-time restaurateurs this year lasted on average only 3 months, with some even announcing closure after just a few days. Statistical data shows that closures predominantly affected novice entrepreneurs. The ratio of novices to industry veterans is approximately 9-1. Particularly impacted were categories favored by these newcomers, such as takeaway-only outlets, hot pot restaurants, and beverage or coffee shops. Check out how fast the restaurant scene changes. One place goes under and right next door, there's a new Lanzhou beef noodle spot setting up. No clue what the previous place was, but it's definitely gone now. The nearby shops? All gone too. Over there's a Racing Coffee. I am here at U-World in Jiuting, Shanghai. Not much business here. Check out the second floor, all closed. Running a physical store is so challenging. So many closed down. Shop after shop changes hands so quickly. The restaurant closures are endless. Look over there, more closed restaurants. I'm making this video not to spread negativity, but to warn newcomers. Business in Shanghai is so tough. If you have no experience, better to not enter the market. See that coffee shop? It's closed down too. This one's still under renovation. Everything's changing so fast. A woman who goes by the pseudonym Golden Phoenix opened a Korean fried chicken and bubble tea shop in Liantang, Shenzhen. Her shop opened in September 2023 after an initial investment of 70,000 yuan, and now has daily earnings fluctuating between 90 to 200 yuan, which is not even enough to cover rent. She is also under a debt of 210,000 yuan and contemplates whether to keep the shop running or shut it down.
Friends, what do? I think my shop's about to close. Please give me some advice. Since the start of October, the National Day month, business has been dead. Some days I only make about 100 yuan. When it gets cold, sometimes I don't get any orders at all. I've had days where I made zero. My monthly rent is at 1,000 yuan. Should I just close until it gets warmer or keep going? Please leave me a comment.
In the comment section, people advised her to cut her losses and close. Some remarked, rather sarcastically, it's normal for business to be slow initially. Given time, it would naturally close. After reading these comments, she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She originally sold from a street stall and hoped to upgrade to her storefront for better shelter. However, the revenues from her physical store turned out to be lower than her previous street stall earnings. She mentioned a neighboring restaurant that closed within a week of opening, and another vegetable shop next door also closed down. Taking advice from the online community, she closed her shop and resumed her street stall business near a school. Yet, given the current economic downturn in China and decreased consumption, even street vending isn't a viable solution. The cooling weather has also impacted the so-called street stall economy, with post-National Day business looking particularly bleak. It's past 10, and where's the so-called street economy? I only see stalls with hardly any people. Let's now turn our attention to brick-and-mortar stores. A netizen's post-holiday footage revealed the current state of Xinyuan Road pedestrian street in Shanghai. The street is now resembling a ghost town, with not a single shop open. The once bustling Shanghai fisheries market was eerily quiet. His comments were direct. It's over. This business is done for. It's like off-season for the seafood street now. Another woman commented on a once thriving street in Shanghai, which now sees significantly fewer visitors.
This is so sad. I feel like next year, even more businesses will close. What do we do?
Nanyou Fashionable Dress Wholesale Center, often deemed the country's top high-end clothing market and renowned for women's clothing, has lost its former glory. Located near Shekou Port, this area used to be the hub for foreign trade clothing factories. It gradually evolved into Nanyou Foreign Trade Wholesale, and as it expanded, it formed a significant clothing business circle. At its peak, a stall's transfer fee could cost millions. However, with many foreign trade clothing factories relocating or closing down, the market has faded. A netizen's reflection from the Nanyou wholesale market in Shenzhen lamented the change. Today's October 7th, the first day after the long holiday. I walked around Nanyou and just felt so sad. It's indescribable. There's no one here. The market is full of new stock, but it's like the goods are rotting on the shelves. Nobody's buying. There is no foot traffic. Amid this year's economic downturn and muted consumer spending, the apparel retail industry in China is largely grappling with challenges. Recently, Rival Fashion, a women's apparel brand listed on China's A-shares, witnessed the collective resignation of its chairman and 7 other executives. This development is yet another instance of a flurry of resignations among senior management in A-share listed companies. In the past 5 years, the brand's revenue and net profit attributable to the parent company has both shown a declining trend. Public records indicate that Rival Fashion owns the brand Broadcast, established in 1999. As one of China's pioneering original urban women's clothing brands, it has a robust operational history spanning over 20 years. According to the latest financial report, under the Rival Fashion umbrella, there are brands like urban women's wear Broadcast and children's clothing Broadcute. As of June 30th, 2023, Broadcast operated 676 brick-and-mortar stores. This number represents a reduction of 391 stores from its peak of 1,067 outlets. Data released by China's National Bureau of Statistics on October 13th showed that the Consumer Price Index recorded zero growth in September after a 2-month hiatus, falling below market expectations. This year has already seen 2 instances of zero growth and 1 of negative growth. Meanwhile, the Producer Price Index in September decreased by 2.5% year-on-year. Though this marks the 3rd consecutive month of narrowing declines, it's still the 12th consecutive month of a decrease. Given China's prevalent trend of downgraded consumption, It's challenging to accommodate price hikes for goods. This trend is evident in the PPI trajectory. No matter how much the cost of upstream production materials rises, businesses largely absorb these costs instead of passing them on to consumers. With shrinking business profits, firms are compelled to internally curtail costs, leading to layoffs. These layoffs in turn lead to decreased income for many, further dampening purchasing power. Thus, in a global context of general inflation, China's situation of unusual deflation stands out. Despite state-run media's persistent call to stimulate consumption, the Chinese government has yet to take concrete measures that genuinely bolster consumer spending. The prevailing sense of insecurity among the public further discourages spending. Moreover, high housing loan burdens have left many financially constrained, indicating that a mere stimulus won't easily boost the CPI. One netizen aptly summarized China's current predicament. Have you noticed? Every industry is getting tougher. Especially since September, anomalies are popping up everywhere. First, jobs are hard to find. Unemployment is rising. Second, while everyone on social media seems to be on holiday and flush with cash, many jobless folks are actually staying in hotels. Third, have you noticed fewer pregnant women? Fourth, delivery drivers and stall owners say business is tough. Fifth, more and more physical stores are being transferred. No transfer fee, but no takers. Terrifying. And sixth, new homes aren't selling, and the secondary market isn't optimistic. Wealthy folks aren't spending, they're keeping their money in banks. Those who want to spend don't have money. 7. New cars in 4S shops aren't selling, and the second-hand car market isn't any better. 8. More young people are choosing not to work, buy homes, or even marry. 9. More people are in debt. Some can't even afford their credit card or mortgage payments. The pandemic is over, so why are these issues emerging?